I am trying, well, not that I have to try, but I haven't been giving commentary, in my opinion, about the case in Colorado of Suzanne Morphew. And I guess now it's become Barry Morphew's case, because he's charged with first-degree murder. And it's for obvious reasons, what will be obvious reasons to many, and that's, the flack that I cop, or, how I'm misunderstood about it, how angry I get, and also simply for the fact that there is nothing for commentators to do. We need to just, it's now a waiting game. We need to just see what happens and let things develop. And where it's at the moment is Linda Stanley, the DA, has halted the release of the arrest affidavit. And what this has done is created this vacuum where people feel that they can step in with, fabrication. It's fabrication rather than speculation, and somehow this is, deemed okay, and it's the case now where some really intense scenarios are going to be spoken about all around the world on Reddit and YouTube channels and comment sections and on Facebook and everywhere, and it's just going to be out there as if sort of this is what you're going to read when it's released. Now, why has this been held back? People are saying this is all to do with the girls. Why are they getting extra protection? It's nothing to do with MACY and MALLORY, not as far as offering them any sort of special attention, special, a special arrangement to protect them. That's not what it is. Possibly it might be that it's just all games. Number one, games if it's to do with the girls, waiting for MACY to become an adult so that now she can be pursued, so that she can be manipulated or strong-armed or interviewed, is because perhaps you're not going to find out what you think you're going to find out from the arrest affidavit. Maybe it's not what you think. Do you think they really have anything beyond circumstantial evidence? Doesn't seem likely. It really doesn't seem likely. But now what's going to happen is not speculation, but fabrication of these scenarios. So, Tyson Draper's putting out there that this is what happened. Suzanne was hung up like an animal. She was bled. She was dismembered using a saw cell, and she was distributed around in various areas, perhaps interstate. Now, this isn't a new idea that Suzanne was murdered by Barry, dismembered, and distributed. This is not a new scenario. You have the burning scenarios, which is this is incorporated into Tyson Draper's fabrication too. It's not to say that you're not going to see that something incredibly heinous occurred. And frankly, a bullet in the head and being buried somewhere, it is heinous. It doesn't have to involve anything other than murder and disposal in any way. Even if she was floated out onto a lake on a raft and set on fire with incense and flowers, it's heinous. Okay, so what is really going on here? Because Linda Stanley, we know she has her way about her to reach her own goals and to get what she wants. I've spoken months ago. I don't really want to go back over it, I guess, but, when she saw the track to political career and There's nothing wrong with ambition. She has just dropped her client like hot coal before a court trial. She has acted in an unethical manner. She's not found him some other counsel. She's left him high and dry, and she uses her technique is to use this tiny technicality, which is just really shitty, to say, well, you need to pay me in full, maybe I'll help you out, but this is my right, sort of thing. But it was, she's just a shitty move player. Okay, this isn't, but you make an allowance for it. She's ambitious, she's a go-getter, but what she is someone who is not afraid to do things that aren't quite above board in some manner. If she knows that she can get away with it, or the price to pay will be simply a nuisance, etc. So you have to question Linda Stanley and her relationship with Profiling Evil. She went on Profiling Evil 2 days before Barry Morphew's arrest, and lo, Slicker rocks up into Colorado in time for Barry Morphew's arrest. So, you need to wonder how much, what is in this affidavit first that, look, I have no idea, obviously I have no idea, but I personally think that it might just be long, because there were a lot of searches, there were a lot of search warrants, there were a lot of, there's a lot of stuff that has happened in the year with FBI agents, and, there's simply just a lot of fodder, okay? It doesn't mean there's anything in there that is anything beyond circumstantial. If they found something in Barry Morphew and Susan Morphew's Puma Path home, blood, anything like that, why wouldn't he have been arrested then? They sent those 6 female FBI agents in then around the time of the second search, didn't they? Oh, there was hoo-ha about that, and we're like, yep, this is going to be the arrest. They're there and they're sending this message. Nothing. Why? Because they found nothing. So what has changed? What changed? What has changed other than, relationships to do with people that should have nothing to do with the case? You have to wonder. I mean, to me, you just have to question it, okay? And it's, this is not me giving an opinion that anyone is innocent or guilty, or that people close don't know things. I'm questioning the motive here, and you just don't fill in the vacuum with crazy thoughts, oh shit, it means this, those fucking bitch girls, because guess what? Are you sure that Linda Stanley is not aware exactly how you are going to react to this, with exactly what you've been saying? Those spoilt little brats, they are awful. And look at this special treatment. Gannon Stouck's little sister didn't get the same treatment, Patrick Frazee case, etc., etc. Listen to you all, right? You think Linda Stanley isn't aware that you're all saying that MACY and MALLORY are involved, She knows exactly the reaction you're going to have, and you're having it, So are you little Pavlov dogs? It'll have nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with the girls whatsoever, other than possibly MACY is going to turn 18, I think, soon. And maybe it's got something to do with that, because maybe they want to be able to pressure her, interrogate her, put taps on her, wiretaps, Who knows? But it could be something to do with that, And then, you've got to decide when does, and this is in every true crime case, isn't it? You know, you've got to decide, when does speculation based on fact, you know, when is it speculation, the scenarios that you can imagine, and they are pretty heinous, and when are they fabrications, just complete fabrications of fantasy for a reason to, you know, the more that you all believe that there is something intense and awful that Barry has 100% done, that they know that he did, if you know what I mean. Not just that they suspect, that they want to take him to trial for. That, you know, it's in the more of you that believe this, the better for Linda Stanley. And it's exactly what's happening. So, you know, why would, I guess the question then is, why would Barry Morphew, if it's still circumstantial, why would Barry Morphew be charged with first degree murder? Is this just to force a plea? Is this to force, you know, some sort of deal where he doesn't go to trial, where he'll say, I done it, tell how it happened, tell where Suzanne is, and you know, and make a deal. You know, you've got people snaring all over the case, all the way through the state of Indiana, making little YouTube videos about his life, Suzanne's life. And do you see just how it is? It's TV, isn't it? It's TV, and it's so manipulative. Don't think for a minute that people don't know what they're doing when they are playing you, okay? And you need to learn that you can hold all these differing thoughts and ideas in your head at one time. You don't need to jump on a toboggan and go down the slope and be a snaring, sniveling fabricator. You know, did you see the way that, yeah, oh God, all he's about is money, rather than seeing how someone might really just be, you know, certain people do have that drive because they know they've got no one to rely on. They need to rely on themselves, and they are afraid. They're afraid of poverty. They're afraid of failure. They need things. They want success. They want, you know, and it's hard work, you know, the snaring about the home that Suzanne and Barry had in Indiana. Yeah, look at the rocks and things like this sitting out the front, when it looked like a perfectly lovely house with lots of trees planted around it, so that I imagine if you're in that home looking out the windows rather than just looking across a field to the road, you would have all this beautiful dappled light, and just little bits of protection around your doorways and some windows. And I mean, it looked lovely, because let's face it, that state is really flat. You know, what is pointless and what is valid, when you know, you don't have to be one way to still believe that, look, you know, we need justice here and we need to find out what has gone on, because a woman just disappeared off the face of the planet, and on such a day as Mother's Day, which is just, you know, for it to be designed like that, if it's designed, is just super cruel, isn't it? It's just super cruel to everybody, but, you know, particularly her daughters. Now, sure, we do not know, okay? We do not know. Do MACY and MALLORY know anything? Were they involved in any way? We don't know. Is it wrong as such to assume that they are, or to, is it wrong to think that they're 100% innocent or anything? I mean, where do you find this balance? I mean, I don't know, but I mean, you can question it. Okay, look, we need to know, where were their movements? What did they go? Who were they seen by? What, and I was always worried at the start, shivers, what have the FBI done to ensure that they've got this all sewn up, because you just have to assume it's something they tick off their list, right? But guess what? They didn't tick off their list. Searching Longhorn Ranch property. Did they never get a warrant for that? Yes, I'm not talking about September. I'm not talking about September and the dogs who were not on the land owned by the Morphews. They were on the corner of that property on some rocks. Rocks, yes. They were down at Riverfront property on Vanderveer, yes. But they weren't on that Longhorn property. At the Longhorn Ranch property owned by Shirley and Barry and Suzanne. So this is very queer. But they had already had quite a few days in the Puma Plath home. So maybe they didn't need to, okay? So maybe everything is coming from the home. But then again, who's at the advantage here, really, by keeping this affidavit secret? No one, Macy and Mallory simply don't have those rights. I don't think I can't believe any judge would do it for that reason. It's simply not, because he might say, or she might say, don't even know who the judge will, sorry, I'm really been keeping out of it. So if there is a known name, sorry, I don't know it. But, the judge might feel personally that, oh man, yeah, I've seen this, and these girls just need to not know this until they've got a few things ticked off in their life and we know they're stable and safe. No, because they, as people say, they don't have that right, do they? Unfortunately, because that should be the case in it would need to be just like that across the board. But at the moment, the law is that the public have a right to transparency. But this feels like manipulation. This feels like game playing. This feels like, yet again, someone just doing what they can because they can get away with it. And you're doing the work for her by making up stories about the reasons. And she knows. You think Linda Stanley doesn't know what an easy target these girls are? You think she doesn't know, say about convicted child abusers and all the videos that came out that are now sort of on private or whatever. Linda Stanley knows that the stories that are out there do quite a lot of her job, and that is to ensure that Barry Morphew is guilty. And what do you think about Spazzy and his demeanour and things? Did he seem at the press release? And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how these things go. I just thought, she's gotten into office, she's gone straight to Spazzy, and she's given him a date, and she's said, just give me everything you've got, because she wants to come in and prosecute. Yeah. And that's that. But yeah, let's not fill the vacuum with these nightmarish scenarios. Suzanne doesn't actually deserve us. If you think you're fighting for Suzanne by doing that, no, you're actually not. It needs to unfold. But there's got to be these lines drawn somehow. I don't know. It's a conundrum because, you know, find Suzanne, just like find every missing person. But, you know, missing persons are exploited, and Suzanne doesn't need to be exploited. She just needs justice. She doesn't need to be exploited by people, exploited by people that you're all very trusting of, who are masters at the game, masters on a global scale. Anywho, and it doesn't mean that they can't have some personal care, okay? Need to stop thinking that we can't have all these differing feelings and thoughts. Anywho, speaking of exploitation of Suzanne Morphew, yeah, there are plenty of people out there with these personas, with these fucking desperate needs for attention. People like Hot Mess, who, by the way, she's made the announcement. She's made the announcement on a wonderful person's channel, but, you know, she's made the announcement that if you're a missing person, if you die and you're missing, like no one knows, just say you went missing in the wilderness and you're not found, yeah, your soul is in purgatory. Yep, Suzanne Morphew's in purgatory. I mean, you know, Hot Mess can talk to her, and I mean, she can't tell you where she is and how Barry done it and what happened and everything. I mean, there's other psychics for that, like you know, the irrelevant Donna. And I mean, this is where this whole fucking sandwich scenario comes into it. I wouldn't be shocked if that wasn't in the affidavit, but, you know, there's people that are abusing Suzanne Morphew just to make themselves special. That's all I'll say, okay? And it's sick. I'm going to run out of time anyway. I've probably said way too much and I'll regret it. See you later, guys.